Hi, I'm Kyle, and my name's Corey, and we're both personal trainers here at the Mattoon and Neil Center YMCA. Today we're going to be going over 2 different exercises for each movement that you guys can do at home while the gyms are closed. That way you guys can get a full body routine and that's quick and efficient on maintaining strength and also helping with the cardiovascular aspect of fitness. So it's very important when you do this, even if you are at home, that you warm up prior to exercise and cool down after exercise. Warming up is important because it's going to raise your body temperature. It's also going to get the muscles moving and the blood flowing. It's kind of like preheating an oven prior to cooking something. You want to do something that imitates what you're doing during the workout. So an example would be maybe he will do high knees, body weight squats. You could do butt kicks. You could do arm circles. You could do hip abduction, bringing the legs out to the side. Now, what you want to do after a workout once you're done is you want to make sure you static stretch. So with this, you want to hold a stretch for 30 seconds. So an example would be toe touches. So he's going to bring his hips back as far as he can, reach down and hold for 30 seconds. Another one could be bringing his knee up to his chest and holding that for 30 seconds. Or he could bring his arm across his body and hold that for 30 seconds. First thing we're going to start out with is Kyle's going to demonstrate a bodyweight squat. So you don't need any equipment for this. What he's going to do is he's going to line his feet up about shoulder width. Toes will be pointed out slightly to help with balance. Now he's going to get his shoulder blades back, core tight. He's going to first move his hips back. He's going to shift his weight to his heels. And now to come up, he's going to drive his hips forward, squeeze his glutes, and then he's going to come right back down using his hips. And then he drives his hip forward, squeeze the glutes, and the whole time he's keeping his core tight, his heels and his toes down. Another variation of a squat movement that you could do if a squat seems too difficult or challenging, or if you're trying to switch it up, would be a wall sit. So next Kyle's going to demonstrate a wall sit. With this one, there's a couple key things you want to make sure you do. First, you want to make sure that your back and your hips stay against the wall the whole time. Next, you want to avoid putting your hands on your legs while doing this because that makes it easier. So bringing your hands out will prevent that. You need to keep his core tight, shoulders back, back straight. And the last thing you want to make sure is that you do not let your knees track over your feet, because if your knees come too far forward, you're putting all that stress on your knees. This will work the quads, the glutes, the hamstrings, and the core. And the longer you hold it, the more difficult it's going to be. Okay, so next we have hinging at the hips, which is important because a lot of times people, when they pick objects up, they use their back and throw out their back or hurt their back instead of actually using their hips and their legs and their core. So we're going to teach you how to do exercises for hip hinge you can do at home. The first one is object. So if you have dumbbells, you can use dumbbells. If you don't have dumbbells, you could use any object at home. You can pick up kitty litter if you want, just any milk jugs, any object you have at home. So the first thing he's going to do, feet are about hip width apart. What he's going to do, shoulders back, core tight. He's going to unlock his knees, just about 10-20 degrees. Once he unlocks the knees, then he only bends at the hips. So he unlocks the knees, then he brings his hips back. See how his shoulders are still back, his core tight, his chest up and out. And then next thing he's going to do, he's going to grab the object. Then when he comes forward, it's like a glute bridge at the top. So he's going to fire his hips forward and squeeze the glutes. So you should feel that in your glutes and hamstrings, not his lower back. Again, he unlocks his knees, bends at the hips. Then next thing he's going to do is he's going to bring his hips forward and squeeze at the glutes. Good. So then he feels that in his glutes and hamstrings, not his lower back. That's how you want to pick objects up. Another one you could do for that too, instead of an object hinge, you could do a glute bridge. So for the glute bridge, what he's going to do, he's going to lay down. You could use a mat, carpet, on floor, anything. You're going to lay down flat. He's going to have his feet close. Some people are going to have their feet close together. Some are going to have a little wider stance. That's okay, as long as what he's going to do, as long as when you're doing it, you're feeling it in your glutes and core when you come up. So it's going to be a little different with the stance, but again, he's lying flat. So what he's going to do is he's going to first push through his heels to bring his hips up. Now his hips are off the floor, he's squeezing his core and his glutes at the same time. He's going to hold for a couple seconds to feel himself activating core and glutes, then he's going to come back down. Then again, first step, he pushes through his heels, raises his hips off the floor, he's going to squeeze his core and his glutes, and then back down. So this is a good one. It gets you used to activating your glutes, your core, firing at the hips instead of flexing at the back and the spine. And then when you're doing this, if you feel it in your spine and not your core and glutes, what he could do is move his feet closer towards his buttocks. So that will take the pressure off his lower back. He's going to do the same thing. Come up, push through the heels, squeeze the glutes and core. And it's essentially with the hips, it's like a plank for the back side of your body instead of the front side. So those are good ones for the hips. And then the hamstrings again. All right, next one we're gonna do is a lunge. Lunge is great exercise for the legs, core, glutes. Also, it's pretty functional because when you walk and whatnot, you're balancing one foot at a time. During a lunge, you're balancing your weight on one leg. So during the lunge, first one we're gonna do is a split squat. So split squat, difference between that and a lunge. During a split squat, you're not stepping forward. You're gonna have your feet apart, and then you're performing the essentially the lunge, but you're not stepping forward with it. So for the split squat, he's gonna have his feet staggered. So one foot in front of the other. What he's gonna do, he's gonna keep his back straight. So imagine you're balancing a book on your head. That's how you keep your back straight. If you start to lean forward, that book would fall. So he's gonna keep his back straight, toes are pointing forward. He's gonna drop his back knee down towards the floor, keeping that back straight, and he's pushing through the front heel of the front foot to get back up. Then he exhales on the way up again, keeping the core tight, shoulders back, coming down, just dropping that back knee, and he's pushing through that front heel to get back up. It's important he pushes through the front heel. The back leg's almost dead weight. That's only coming up because he's pushing through the front heel. So you should feel it more in the front quad than the back. If you're feeling it more in the back leg, then bring your stance closer together. You just don't want it too close to where his knee is going over his toes. So that's the split squat, that's in place. Next one we have is lunges. So lunges, walking lunges, it's pretty much the same thing except he's gonna be walking when he's doing it. So one foot at a time, he's gonna come out in front. Good, then he's gonna keep that back straight, push through the heel. Good, then alternate, same thing. So it's a little more challenging. He's just stepping with it, and that's it for lunge.
Okay.
So next we're gonna go into a pull. It's very important to do some sort of pull during every workout. A lot of times people with shoulder pain, the problem is they have an imbalance between the front and between anterior and posterior. So they're stronger here because they don't strengthen their back muscles. With a pull, I'll be using my rear delts, my traps, and my lats in the back. First thing we're gonna do is a bent over row. You can do this with a bar, dumbbells, or any object you can find at home. What Kyle's gonna do first is he's gonna hinge at his hips, so he's gonna unlock his knees, bring his hips back. He's gonna tuck his chin so he's looking down at the ground. Now next thing he's gonna do is he's gonna lead with the shoulder blades coming together and pull his elbows in. Then he's gonna come all the way back down to where he started, arms fully extended, then shoulder blades lead, elbows follow. Another good cue if you have trouble with that is to think about pinching your shoulder blades back like there's a pencil between them, or to think about puffing your chest out like you're Superman. Next exercise he'll do, if you guys don't have weights, you could use resistance bands or tubing. A lot of places supply resistance bands. You can get them online at Walmart. What he's gonna do now is he's gonna get an athletic stance, so hips back, knees slightly bent. He now is gonna activate his core, and same concept, he's gonna lead with his shoulder blades, pull his elbows in, puff his chest out, and then slowly come forward. So the next exercise for a pull that you can use if you don't have weights is to use a resistance band. Many websites or Walmart, a lot of stores offer resistance bands. What he's gonna do is you can wrap the band around any object that's not gonna move, including a door handle. He's gonna get an athletic stance, so hips back, knees slightly bent. Now he's gonna activate his core, and he's gonna lead with the shoulder blades coming together, elbows following, and then he's gonna come forward to where he started. Then he's gonna lead again with shoulder blades, elbows follow, and again think about puffing your chest out, and he's exhaling as he pulls the band towards him. All right, next one we have is the push-up, which is one of the most functional exercises for the upper body. So for the push-up, the starting position is kind of like a plank. So he's gonna come back with his feet together, pivot on his toes. He has his hips up, but his back straight, core tight. Notice he has his shoulders directly above his hands, so reduce the shoulder pain. He's gonna keep his elbows in. He's gonna come down, nice and controlled. Brings the floor to the chest. Then on the way up, he's gonna push up off the floor and squeeze his chest together. So nice and controlled. Notice he's still keeping his back neutral, core tight. Again, kind of start out like a plank, keep the elbows in, come down, chest touches the floor. Then on the way up, he squeezes his chest together and exhales. So next we're gonna go over a modification for the push-up. What we're gonna do first is we're gonna practice the lowering phase. So I'm gonna get in a plank position again. From here I want my glutes tight, core tight. Now I'm only worried about lowering myself. So I'm gonna bring my elbows in and try to lower myself in 3 to 5 seconds. Then I'm gonna use my knees to come back up to the starting position. Then lower myself 3 to 5 seconds again. Use my knees to come up. So all I'm worried about there is the lowering phase. So then next, we're gonna go into the up phase. So once I grasp the lowering phase, I'm gonna practice coming up from the floor. So now I'm going to start with my body completely at rest on the ground. I want my elbows in, and I'm going to push my body up at the same time. Then I'll kneel down to get back to the floor. Then push my body up at the same time, and kneel back down to get to the floor. And then once you grasp the lowering phase and then the coming up phase, then you'll be able to do a full push-up together. All right, next we have the overhead press, which is a good one for the shoulders. So if you don't have dumbbells, or you could use milk jugs again or something. If you don't have that, you could use a resistance band, which those are very affordable at Walmart and whatnot. So for the overhead press, what he's gonna do, first he's gonna place one foot in the middle of the band. Then he's gonna turn his palms this way. He's gonna start with the elbows he wants to keep the elbows out in front. So not out here outside the body, he wants the elbows out in front. What he's gonna do is he's gonna keep his wrist locked. He's gonna come up overhead, meet in the middle, kind of like a triangular pyramid, or just straight up, and then when he comes back down, he's gonna come back down nice and controlled. Notice his elbows still stay in. He stops right there. Then when he comes up, he's extending the arms. Again, his elbows are out in front, core tight. He's not arching his back. He's gonna work the front of the shoulders and then control it on the way down, same movement. And then to make that a little more challenging, he's gonna place 2 feet on the band, and the further apart his feet are on the band, the more resistant. So it's gonna be the same thing, palms facing this way, elbows out in front. He's gonna come straight up, extend the arms, nice and controlled on the way down. Core tight, not arching the back. Then up, exhale, nice and controlled on the way down. So that's a good one for the shoulders. So next we're gonna go over 2 exercises that are body weight for the core. The core is one of the most important areas. It's being used during any activity. The key of the core is to resist movement while your other limbs are moving. One of the most beneficial core exercises is a plank. So we're gonna go over a body weight plank. There's 2 variations to this. First, we'll go over arms extended. What you're gonna do is you're gonna have your shoulders directly over your hands. You want your feet together, and now you're gonna raise your hips off the ground. You wanna make sure that it looks as if you would standing. So you want your back straight, hips up a little higher, shoulder blades back. He's squeezing the glutes and the front of his legs. So the whole time he has tension throughout the body, and he should be able to balance a pole or bar across his back. Ways that this is done incorrectly is if his butt's up too high, or if his butt's down too low, then he'll feel a little back pressure. This is a good one for people who want to work on shoulder stability, or who want to practice doing a push-up properly. This helps make that easier. For people with shoulder problems, there's another variation. We can do a plank on his forearms. So next thing, the setup's almost the same, except you want your elbows directly under your shoulders with your forearms on the ground. You're clenching the fists together to provide more tension, feet together. Your hips will be a little lower than the last one because of being on your forearms. He still has his back straight, he's squeezing his glutes and the front of his legs. And when you do a plank, you do not want to hold one for longer than a minute, because the whole purpose is to hold tension throughout the whole body. And the longer I hold a plank, then I let go of my tension. So usually you want to try and do about 30 to 60 seconds. After that, another exercise you can do is a dead bug. So what he's going to do is he's going to lie down on his back. He wants to put his hands up in the air, palms facing each other. Then he's going to bend both his knees to 90 degrees. Feet off the ground. Bring the feet up a little bit. Now from here, what he's going to do is he's going to exhale and try and expand his stomach out as he extends one leg out at a time. Then when he comes in, he wants to suck his belly button in towards his spine, and then it's extending the other leg out. To make this harder, you would go slower, and you want to get the foot further down towards the floor. This one, you want to count reps per each leg, and you should feel a lot of tension in the stomach region and no back pressure. So thank you for watching this video. We hope it helps you guys. We want to keep you guys moving and keep you on track for when you guys come back to the YMCA. If you guys do have any questions, you guys can email Katty Nuzzo at cnuzzo@mattoonymca.org, or find her on Facebook and send her a message, or comment on this link. Thank you for your time, and get active.